Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Susan Welton, Oracle Marketing Manager at Perficient, and I'm excited to be moderating today's webinar on Oracle Data Visualization. We're very fortunate to have Shiv Bharti and Mazen Manasa with the Oracle Business Analytics team on the call today. They'll set the stage with an in-depth review of Oracle Data Visualization Cloud Service, cover connecting different data sets, and wrap up with a demo taking a real-world business use case from end to end. Two questions always come up with our online events. Can I get a copy of the slides after today's presentation, and can I get a copy of the recording? The answer to both questions is yes. We will email you with the information on how to access both the slides and the recording following today's event. Time permitting, we plan on having a Q&A session at the end of the event, so please type your questions into the chat box, and feel free to do that at any time. Although we won't be answering your questions directly while the presentation is going on, feel free to go ahead and upload those questions so they're available when we do get to the Q&A session, and that way you won't forget your question either. Without further delay, I'd like to introduce today's speakers, Shiv Bharti and Mazen Manasa. Shiv is the Director of Perficient's Oracle Business Intelligence practice. Shiv has successfully led the implementation of more than 75 Oracle BI and custom data warehouse projects, and has helped countless clients across industries implement BI solutions to drive value with their technology investments. Mazen is a solution architect in Perficient's Oracle Business Intelligence practice. His data warehousing expertise, together with in-depth knowledge of the OBIEE platform, is a result of 11 years of consulting experience. He focuses on assessing the health and scalability of existing client technologies, evaluating roadmaps and scope of the new BI solutions, and managing delivery teams. Shiv and Mazen, welcome.
Thank you, Susan. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the webinar on how you can empower your business users with Oracle Data Visualization. So let's take a look at the agenda. I would like to start by giving you a quick overview of Perficient and our business intelligence practice. We'll then talk about some of the shifts that are happening today with analytics platforms, how proficiencies amongst business user community is changing the way they use business intelligence platforms and what they are demanding from a modern business intelligence tool. We'll then talk about Oracle's analytics strategy and how every business user can get started with the easiest and quickest way to using a modern platform and build on the successive steps by leveraging your incremental investment on platform as well as contents that are built over time. We'll then give you an overview of Oracle Data Visualization and how you can build governance while providing self-service at an enterprise scale. I will then turn it over to Mazen to give you a demo of Oracle Data Visualization, discussing various use cases of this tool. We'll then conclude by summarizing the possibilities with Oracle Analytics Cloud and discuss how you could get started. Finally, we'll open it up for any questions from the audience. So about Perficient, we are a national IT and management consulting firm. We are a publicly listed company with revenue of about $500 million. We have 23 offices across North America with global delivery centers in India and China. We have over 3,000 employees. And one of the things to highlight about Perficient is about 95% of our revenue comes from recurring clients, and that is because we produce results. We are an Oracle Platinum partner and have dedicated pillars for Oracle ERP, Business Intelligence, Enterprise Performance Management, and Customer Relationship. A little bit about our Oracle BI practice. Our Oracle BI practice has over 14+ years of experience deploying Oracle Analytics product stack. We're a team of over 100 consultants, and very similar to my and Mazen's background, I would say about 65 to 70% of our consultants come from Siebel and Oracle product development team, who played a key part in building the very product that today we are successfully deploying at our customer locations. In the last 3 years, our team has developed numerous pre-built solutions on Oracle BI Cloud Service platform to simplify analytics for customers migrating to Oracle Cloud. This includes pre-built solutions for finance, sales, marketing, HR, and service, which leverages Oracle's BI applications methodology. We're also one of the first partners to take our customers live on Oracle Analytics Cloud. We have expertise across industries and with customers of different sizes. So before we get started, I have a quick polling question, and I would like the audience to answer this. Have you considered using a self-service tool to reduce reliance on IT? And your choices are yes, we are evaluating the tools, or this is something that you're considering in the next 2 years, or maybe you already own one, even if it's not Oracle, or it could simply be not a priority at this time because you have some of the other tools or projects. So we see that the responses are starting to come up. Looks like most of the audience members are still in the process of evaluating this tool. So let's responses are still coming in. Let's skip to the results. And what we see is about 40% are still in the process of evaluating these tools or in the next couple of years. And 30% already own this one. So if you own a data visualization tool other than Oracle, I think this will be a really good session for you to be able to compare in terms of where it stands. So with that, let us go ahead and get started. IDC predicts that by 2020, spending on self-service visual discovery and data preparation market will grow 2.5 times faster than traditional IT-controlled tools for similar functionality. Now, those that have a plan will see great reward over their competitors. IDC projects $430 billion advantage. Now, however, doing so will have its own set of challenges. It is not going to be easy. IT has to adapt to the digital transformation. And for business users to be able to focus more on strategy means streamlining everyday activity to free up the resources. Many shifts are happening today. With technology changing at such a pace, business users are relying on data to keep up with the industry and beat the competition. Business users are expecting more than dashboards and reports. They don't want to be handed off with a set of reports and dashboards which are pre-built by IT for them. They are demanding seamless self-discovery and dashboarding. They want to be able to take what is given and combine that with other data sources and be able to tell a more powerful and compelling visual story with narrative and snapshots. IT is being challenged to provide the business what they want. Flexible analytics that meets the needs of many types of users is key. As business users are relying on tools and data, they're achieving higher levels of proficiency and therefore demanding more self-service analytics. Organizations, especially the business user community who had purchased a standalone data visualization tool, are now moving away from standalone data visualization tools that are not able to provide data governance, single source of truth, or enterprise-level security. Although the cloud adoption is accelerating, most organizations still have hybrid applications with both on-premise and cloud data sources. Business users want to be able to combine data sources regardless of where they are fairly quickly so timely decisions can be made and acted upon. So what is Oracle's strategy? Oracle understands that when starting out, you need a system that will fit your needs right away without causing major disruption to your other systems or architecture while adding significant value to your business users every step of the deployment and adoption process. Oracle's strategy is to ensure whichever capabilities and deployment choices customers need, as they grow, they can easily expand into the next level without any loss of work or content. There are mainly three products that is part of the overall strategy. First, Data Visualization Cloud Service, or DVCS, is for smaller deployments that most often see teams or departments owning the analytics themselves without reliance on IT. Oracle manages the environment. This is what we'll be covering for the most part today. Next is BI Cloud Service, or BICS, which is for medium deployments that require a more sophisticated analytics solution. Now, as such, the business cannot operate entirely on its own, requiring IT to manage things like the semantic layer. Now, a semantic layer is built by automating a process to pull data from your various on-premise or cloud applications like ERP or CRM. You need a functional knowledge to be able to pull data and structure it in a format that will simplify reporting. Again, Oracle manages the environment for you. Third, there is Oracle Analytics Cloud, or OAC, which is for larger deployments where IT will own the deployment as it is customer managed. Customer management introduces more flexibility to how IT can deploy, manage, administrate their analytics platforms. Now, while IT managing their OAC platform, they can provide analytics as a service to the rest of the organization. Now, what's important here is each solution builds on the previous solutions, each introducing another level of analytics, ending with Oracle Analytics Cloud that provides everything from data visualization through to governed metrics and dashboards to advanced analytics and scenario modeling. Oracle Data Visualization Cloud Service eliminates the complexity typically associated with blending and correlating data sets. Easy, automatic data blending allows you to combine data from a variety of sources, Oracle and other SaaS applications, on-premises systems, external sources, and personal files, and immediately gain new insights using visual analysis. The quality of decisions is always affected by data and time. Having the right data that has considered as many possibilities as possible means greater chance that the right direction can be chosen. That data must, of course, be current and accurately reflected reality at the time of the decision. The data landscape, however, is changing fast. Data is not located in a single, well-defined view. Instead, it's fragmented across the enterprise and even outside in third-party or public sources. New technologies continue to arise, providing new and difficult approaches to data storage, organization, and access. Tools required for connecting to and retrieving data from sources, enrichment, and visualization have been fragmented, often with multiple different vendors requiring multiple skill sets to simply retrieve and visualize the results needed. With Oracle Data Visualization, you can connect to the right data from any source. That means access to a vast number of supported data sources on-premises and in the cloud, databases, and applications, and ensuring that as new industry leading sources arise, that Oracle will continually add connectors to those sources. Once you have connected those data sources, users can blend and enrich that data with powerful built-in data preparation capabilities. Simply being able to connect data is not enough. You need a tool that has artificial intelligence and machine learning built into it to automatically infer connections between data sets and be able to display in an easy interface so you can see how data is related and add or change connections as necessary. The solution is to make sure that you can always connect to the right data at the right time. That means accessing all relevant data that is needed to support your activity, decision, or process regardless of where it may be stored. It means you can stay ahead of the curve with the help of proactive analytics that are smart, knowing where you are, who might be calling you, that can trigger your analytics to ensure you have your numbers ready to go. Finally, a singular process in a single tool that requires little training that can be driven by standard user is able to perform all that is required from data access to data visualization and everything in between. With Oracle Data Visualization, you can automatically detect different data patterns. Visual analytics masks complexity, enabling very sophisticated data exploration by simply clicking to apply filters and drill, and dragging and dropping to create compelling dashboards. You can take your analysis even further with an easy expression editor where you can use pre-built functions to visually create custom filters and calculations to quickly extend and enrich your data. A unified user experience blurs the lines between dynamic discovery, dashboarding, and presentation, creating a seamless and richly contextual environment that keeps your exploration fast and fluid. Sometimes you know the data you are working with, and sometimes you don't. You need some guidance and the ability to search your data. Oracle Data Visualization has powerful search, guided navigation, and sophisticated filtering that work together intelligently to provide an easy, interactive path through your data, helping you find exactly what you're looking for. You can also use your voice search to search through your data set and ask it to generate a report for you. Dashboards and reports would add more value if it were able to tell a story. Oracle Data Visualization gives you the ability to tell your story and share your content with other users. With built-in algorithms and artificial intelligence, it is easy to capture insights and visual stories, saving story points and adding comments to highlight key points and discoveries. Stories are live and can be securely shared with anyone with permission. Coworkers can click a link and be brought into the story, build upon it, and share it in turn, enabling the rapid, dynamic collaboration that drives improved decision-making and faster action. So with that, before we talk about governed self-service, we have another polling question to understand how important is governance and security infrastructure on a self-service data visualization tool. So your choices are must-have for enterprise rollout, nice to have, and never thought about it. Well, we have a clear winner. Must-have for enterprise rollout, which is very important for most of the audience here, and which makes a lot of sense. And that's one of the main reasons why we are seeing customers who own data visualization are looking for a tool that is more complete. Being able to balance your user autonomy with governance and policy is really part of building a BI competency center for every organization. With Oracle Data Visualization, organizations can find their own balance between users' self-service and governance. The scale is now adjustable by you. This allows for the combining of all relevant information, including governed systems of record and unmodeled personal data, third-party data, or external information that becomes that perfect custom combination that can contribute to your business activity. And know that you won't be kept waiting for your results, because intelligent queries optimized for the specific data sources will keep performance high. In the past, deployment of enterprise data warehouse platform meant the data requirements had to be known before the start of the engagement, and then you would be able to roll out analytical solutions for different business user group, whether it be finance or sales or HR, for what was captured. With the adoption of business intelligence platforms, users are now asking for self-service discovery tools so they can mash up the data sets provided by IT with other data sources and be able to perform self-service analytics. They want to be less reliant on IT, so they are able to analyze and make decisions on time-sensitive information. Being able to combine, for example, enterprise data warehouse with your flat files or social media data to be able to perform more intelligent marketing analytics, for example. So it is a top-down approach that is what it used to be than what it used to be before. Today with Oracle Data Visualization, you can combine enterprise data, which has a single source of truth, data governance framework and security infrastructure with other data sources to be able to perform departmental self-service analytics, enabling business users to spend more time on analysis than creating a service request with their IT, trying to add a new column or a field to the existing data warehouse. For customers who own pre-built BI applications, this should mean allowing your business users to use Oracle Data Visualization to source from subject areas that are in production, along with any other flat files or S-based cubes to be able to mash up the data and perform rich visual exploration and tell a more powerful story. Data visualization supports one of the most useful features in IR, namely the ability to mash up corporate data with private data held in spreadsheets. DVCS even surpasses IR in its ability to leverage existing reports to create new ones. So without further ado, let me go ahead and transition it to Mazen to walk us through some of the demo content on data visualization.
Thank you, Shiv, and hello, everyone. So what I'm going to do next here is first give you an idea of what you need to do to get started with data visualization. There's 4 main steps that we typically do in there. And then after that, I'll show you a lot of the visual examples that you can build using data visualization. So really, there's 4 steps that we do in data viz. The first part is to connect to the different data sources. And as Shiv mentioned, there's a lot of built-in adapters in data visualization to help you connect and pull data into it. And then after the connection is created, we create what is called a data flow, which is the preparation of the data to put it in a shape and form that works best from a reporting perspective. And then the third step is to visualize the data. People typically say a picture is worth 1,000 words. That's where you want to come up with visuals that tell a story by just looking at the visual. And the fourth part is to share what you create and then start commenting on it and share knowledge about the analytics that you create with other people in your organization. So if we look at the first part, which is to create a connection, this is what the wizard looks like in data visualization. You see there's a lot of adapters that are built in. Some of these are on-premise connections to databases that you have within your network. There's also connections to cloud databases or cloud applications such as Salesforce or Oracle cloud applications and non-Oracle applications. Space is a very key connection here, and that has been recently made available. A very important connection if you're in finance and you're doing financial close. People use Space heavily. So the fact that we can now access Space from data visualization is a great addition. Then after the connection is created is where we do the data flows, which is really a way to join different data sources, apply aggregations. What we're looking at here is a sample data flow that does a join between 2 sources. And then you can select certain columns that you want to include in your projects for analytics, and then apply renames and so forth. And once you do the import, this is what you get. You get a preview of the data, which is very expected. It's a tabular format of the data that you see, and some of it is attributes. Some of it you see here on top is a measurement, like here, number of customers. But then in addition to this simple view, you get this, which is automatically generated on a click of a single button. And this is what we call data discovery. So instead of you going and looking through the data and creating visuals one by one, this is generated automatically, and you can start seeing trends and certain highlights in the data. For example, if you look here, there's yearly trends in the sales. We can tell from this graph that the highest sales orders are from the high priority category. Here we see most of our sales are from November. So this is how we can make use of the data discovery. And then the third part I mentioned is visualization. And here's a screenshot of what all the different visuals that are built in are. Some of these are very typical, like bar graphs, pie charts, pivot tables, but there's also more advanced types of visuals that I'm going to show you examples about, like the timeline, the parallel coordinates, chord, network diagrams. All these are very useful if you're trying to analyze correlation between different attributes and across multiple measurements. This is an example of what your data visualization canvas can look like. There's multiple visuals added in here. There's styles for some KPIs, pivot tables, heat map. There's trending of revenue by product category that you look at here. Okay, this is another example. And like when you have two measurements you want to put on a chart, you probably can use a bar line combo like you see here. But then when you have more than two, like 4, 5, or 6 measurements, that's where we can make use of what we call the parallel coordinates. So in this case, we can quickly pinpoint that the product category, computer and electronics, has the highest average order size, discount ratio, and profit ratio, but the sales volume is low because of this axis here, whereas the furniture sales are high on sales, but really they're not that profitable. A very quick way to see the correlation across different measurements together. This is an example of trending revenue. So yeah, you can plot your data, but then it's hard to make sense of what's going on if you don't really add a reference line or a trend line. For example, for furniture in Americas, we see the last few months are trending down, but technology sales have been picking up over the last few months. This is an example of how you can create bins on customer segments. So the bubbles in this chart represent the different customer segments, and you can see penetration across different product categories: furniture, office supplies, and technology. And the bar here is showing us categorization of customers into different bins. So the high profitable customers are towards bin 9 and 10 in here, and we can tell that most of our customer population are in bins 3 and 4. So we see where our customer distribution is. This is an example of what we call a scatter graph. So each one of those bubbles here is a city in this case. We're analyzing profit and sales across different cities. But what I want to bring up here is the feature of what we call brushing, because we have multiple visuals. We have the bar chart, the scatter, and the pie graph, the donut graph here. And when you select, for example, Europe, Northern Europe segment, you automatically get a highlight on the scatter of where those cities in Northern Europe are with respect to the rest of the cities on this distribution. You also have a highlight on the donut of where those cities are located at. So a very powerful feature to not just create separate visuals, but also interconnected visuals that are dynamically responding to the clicks on the screen. This is an example of a geographical analysis. So we're looking at a distribution by country, but we can go down obviously to the lower levels, cities and zip codes. And we're able to plot here 3 measurements: the sales, profit ratio, and number of orders, all together on the same map. And we also have an example of what a tag cloud would look like, a very useful, nice feature to look at attributes and how they compare against each other. In this case, we're looking at the countries. So I talked about geographical maps, but this also supports custom mapping, not just geographical maps. In this example, we're looking at the map of a stadium, and we're overlaying the distribution of the audience in the different sections of the stadium. So we see where people are mostly picking which sections, and also the distribution of demographics in the stadium. So the bubbles in this case are child ratio to see where children are mostly occupying which sections. All right, this is an example, the one on the left, of a chord diagram. Very useful if you want to see the relationship between two different dimensions or two categories of data. In this case, I'm looking at product category, which is office supplies, technology, and furniture, and how this correlates to the type of packaging, the container. So, and our eyes directly go to those four main chords here. The office supplies with small boxes, those work well together. So the color indicate, a darker color indicates higher profit value, and the bigger the band, the higher the sales volume. And we can tell that technology works well with the jumbo drum, the furniture works well with the jumbo box. So we can easily lay that on a chord diagram. The one on the right is what we call a network diagram. And if we zoom into that a little bit, in this case, we're finding a network or correlation between the product categories and region. So we quickly see a line going on here between technology, America, Northern America. And it's dark because it has a higher profit value than the rest of the regions. For example, if you compare that to Europe or to Asia, we have less sales flowing in from those regions with technology. All right, this is an example of what a Sankey looks like on the left. Again, if we want to see correlation between different dimensions, for example, we quickly see there's a strong sales coming in from North America for the furniture business, but it is not as profitable as the computer and electronics business. The darker color here indicates higher profit value, but there's higher volume of sales from here, so we get a wider connection. And the one on the right is what we call a tree diagram, and this is very useful if you have hierarchies. In this case, we have a product hierarchy, but it could be a management hierarchy, and you want to see where the volume of sales is mostly coming in from. So if we look at this, we've got a strong line going in from binders and binder accessories for stationery. We'll also see there's a lot of profit. Here, the dark line coming in from chairs and the chair mats for furniture. So by looking at picture, you can quickly pinpoint which are the branches that are contributing to the revenue stream. This is a calendar timeline. In this case, we're looking at transactions of customers laid out on a calendar. Very useful if you're doing customer support or service and you want to lay out your interactions with the customer, the times they called or they communicated through email, or the times they placed orders on the same timeline. So you see all interactions together. That's one of the recent additions to the data visualization capability. So now, in addition to the basic type of analytics that I've been showing, there's also built-in support for more advanced analytics capabilities. And I'm putting here the most important ones, the four categories. The first one is to do clustering. So that's useful if you're doing customer segmentation that you want to load into your marketing campaigns and address certain customers that follow the same behavior. There's also outlier detection. If you're a retailer, you want to see who are your best performing stores or underachieving stores, you can use the algorithm for outlier detection. There's multiple variations of it, like the k-means, clustering. So if you're into statistics, you would be interested to try the different models and see how they compare. There's also regression analysis. There's the simple regression, but there's also more advanced exponential and polynomial. Very useful if you want to see, for example, impact of discount on sales and profit and how different metrics affect each other. And there's also forecasting, which is very useful to project, for example, sales revenue. It also has models that include trends and seasonality in your historical data. So If you are a water company that sells water, there's obviously times of the year where there's higher sales, and those type of seasonality can be included in the forecast. This is an example of what applying a clustering or classification algorithm looks like. The bubbles here are cities, and we're able to classify cities across profit ratio and sales into 5 main groups. And that way we can organize our operations in those clusters to follow the same trend, because these cities have the same kind of expectation. And this is another type of cluster where we're doing bins of customers based on demographics. So based on the customer age, we can group our customer population in one of the 10 bins. So we quickly see that our customers are producing sales with a younger generation. So bin 3 is those around age 30. But if you look at those graphs here at the bottom, the yellow graph, we see that from a profit ratio perspective, bins 8 and 9, which is the older generation, these are the most profitable customers that we have. And here's also another example of how we can do heat maps on binning of customer demographics. So again, if we look at the yellow heat map here, and the bins going down are for customer age, we quickly see there's a dark area here on the map. That means for the profit rate, the older customers are more profitable. But if we look at the number of orders measurement, this heat map here is showing us that the younger customers are placing a lot more orders than the older customers. And so the other axis here we're looking at is the order size. You see that older customers are placing larger orders as opposed to more frequent orders. And also we see that from a cost perspective, the younger customers are introducing more shipping costs because they place more frequent orders. So interesting conclusions we can make out of binning customers based on demographics. This is an example of using the Outlier Detection algorithm in Oracle Data Visualization. And each one of those bubbles here is a day of the year. So I want to analyze how our operations are handled on certain days of the year in terms of profit and discount ratio. I see a big bubble here, which is for 25th of December. Looks like there's high sales, high discounts going on, but the profit ratio is low. So that's an outlier that was automatically bubbled up and showed up here as red. The ones on the right are trends. And again, we're looking at the different days of the year. The red ones are the outliers. And we can tell that most of the days of the year where there's unusual or unnormal operations going on are towards the second half or the fourth quarter of the year, where we're expecting those days to occur. So we can now know which days we need to adjust our operations to handle in a better way. Here's an example of doing different regressional analysis. You see you can do linear, exponential, or polynomial to fit in curves into your data distribution. And we can also break it down in different categories. In this case, it's broken by the customer segment. And there's also forecasting capability. In this example, the bars are actual revenue for historical months, but then the lines here are representing different forecasting models. There's the moving average model. There's the what we call the exponential smoothing, which introduces trends and seasonality in the data. And you can compare and see which model makes more sense for your business to do forecasts. Another example of applying the forecast function, the light blue area is the forecast that we've generated. In this case, it's a separate forecast for the different product categories. So all what I've showed you so far is built-in analytical functions in Oracle Data Visualization, but there's also ways to extend what is already there using external functions. So in this case, we're using R for statistical data mining, and we're applying a market basket analysis to figure out the correlation between different products and which products sell well together. So to do that, we call the evaluate script function from data visualization, and we call this R package to pass in parameters and get the result of the external data mining engine. And by introducing R, if you're familiar with it, there's also R native visualizations that we can embed within data visualization as well. So these visuals are R visuals, and then this example, if you look at the dark dots, these show us a good correlation between coffee and crispy burger, or between the snack box and Coke. Those items go well together. Another example of where we can use data mining is doing sentiment analysis on text, and this can be something that you get from a Twitter feed or social media, or it can be your own feedback system for customer reviews, and you can start seeing frequency of terms that your customers are using, where are your customers mostly engaged. It could be something focused on your products, for example. Another way of looking at sentiment analysis using R as well in here. In this case, we're looking at by product, how is the feedback? Is it mostly positive, negative, or neutral? You see here there's mostly positive feedback in green, but some negative feedback also collected from the customer reviews. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to you, Shiv.
Thank you, Mazen, for that terrific demo. Such a powerful tool. Such a powerful tool. Imagine what you could do if you owned DVCS today. Imagine the possibilities if your analytics platform was collaborative, connected, complete, and give you a choice to get there. With Oracle Analytics Cloud Platform, you can provide a secure, collaborative, and modern approach to working across small to large teams. You can connect to all possible data sources, ensuring you are considering all relevant data at the best possible time, regardless of your location or your device. You would empower your business users and address the needs of every person in the enterprise, providing the capabilities they expect regardless of their role. Today, you can actually make the choice. You have the flexibility of hybrid deployment where you can set your own balance between governance and user freedom. You can lead new and innovative projects, take the lead in the digital transformation, and help the departments with their transformation. You can truly empower your business users and allow your data to tell a powerful story. So we hear from many of our customers that they understand why they should move to the cloud, but the immediate follow-up is, where do we start? There are 3 important steps on your journey to cloud, starting with the easiest and the quickest to deploy, and each successive steps builds on the previous steps. First, the quickest and the easiest step is known as having data hybrid. This is analytics in the cloud with live on-demand access to existing data sources, both cloud and on-premises. This is definitely what our customers are talking about as a popular starting point for moving to the cloud. Second, lift and shift is the next logical step that requires a little more effort but also brings even more value. Transporting analytic applications, which includes content, security, users, and data to and from the cloud. When considering a move to cloud, you are faced with the key decision: re-architect the applications or employ a lift and shift approach. Re-architecting the application requires extensive planning, time, significant effort, and costly resources to implement. The lift and shift approach, however, is gaining popularity because it offers hybrid cloud business intelligence without having to worry about data security and recreating the metadata in the cloud. Third, and the next logical step is to expand your analytics to realize the greatest potential to innovate in the cloud. This includes enabling machine learning and artificial intelligence and the addition of cloud capabilities like modeling, big data discovery, mobile access, or into other SaaS, PaaS, and infrastructure as a service options. You want to be able to roll out new applications quicker and enable self-service on existing applications. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it back to Susan for questions.
Thank you, Shiv and Mazen. As Shiv mentioned, we're going to start the Q&A session of today's event. So I want to direct your attention to the chat window. If you haven't had an opportunity yet, please feel free to enter any questions that you might have into that window. We will read your questions out loud, and if for some chance we don't have an opportunity to get to all of your questions, we will definitely follow up with you after today's event. So go ahead and feel free to ask those questions. Even if you think a question might be unique to your own personal situation, we can take that offline and address it at that time. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start with a couple of questions that have already come in. We've got a question here. Mazen, this is probably for you. How much ongoing maintenance does data visualization require? And is it available in an on-premise software or cloud solution?
Yeah, so Oracle data visualization comes in different forms. It can be in an Oracle desktop application that you can download and use locally, or it can be an Oracle Cloud embedded application if you have Oracle Analytics Cloud. It also comes with OBIE, which is the Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise platform. So there's different ways where it comes. And so if you go with the cloud option, there's really very minimal maintenance that you need to worry about because it's all Oracle maintained for you. But obviously, if you go with something like an on-prem OBIE platform, that's where you need to have your IT team maintain it just like any other BI platform they have implemented in the past on premises.
Okay, great. Thank you. We have another follow-on question. Does data visualization require that data gets replicated over the source systems, or does it run directly off the sources? Can you address that one too as well?
Sure, and that's a very good question. We get that a lot. It really depends on the data sources. The adapters that we presented earlier, some of these are external data sources. That means you don't really copy the data or replicate the data. If you're connecting to, for example, Essbase or a database, whether it's SQL Server, Oracle, or another database, there's no really replication of the data that goes on. But if you're connecting, for example, to Oracle ERP Cloud or other cloud application, you would pull in the data into your Oracle Data Visualization project and then create a data flow and report off of what you copy over into your project.
Great, thank you. So we have a couple other questions here. One is about BI Ask. Is BI Ask an Oracle Mobile HD app?
I believe that's
yes.
part of that. Yeah,
go ahead, Matt.
That's part of the day-by-day. So there's a different app provided by Oracle to do more advanced analytics on mobile devices, and that's day-by-day. So you can look for that as well to enable it.
And we have a follow-on question on that same topic. Wants to know, are there any specific configuration settings to enable the voice for BI Ask?
I don't believe so, but we can get back. It's part of the app that gets installed on your mobile device.
Next question here is from Chris. Chris wants to know, how well can the tool drill up and drill down? For example, if you're looking at sales over a year and you want to look at them by month and then on a certain day, for example, can these be one-click data visualizations?
Yes, so there's what we call hierarchy that we can define. So you can drill up and down the time dimension So if you have a yearly visual and you want to go down to the month, weeks, and days, you can keep drilling down to the sub-levels of the hierarchy.
We have another question here. Is the single-click visualization of prepared data not available in DV Desktop? If it is, where is it available?
It is, and it may be a little bit difficult to find, but it's an icon that you would get on the upper right side of DV Desktop. You'd be able to locate it there.
This is a great question from Sharon. Do you need some kind of programming knowledge to create data visualizations?
Absolutely not. This tool is tailored for the business users or the analysts, not for people who are savvy with technology and writing code. So very minimal knowledge is needed.
This is a specific question asking about, are there maps at zip code granular level available out of the box in DV currently?
There's a way to map zip codes to longitudes and latitudes that you can then put on a map. So yeah, I've seen that happen a lot in Oracle data visualization.
This is a question about hardware requirements. Can you speak to just in general hardware requirements?
It really depends on the scale. Yeah, go ahead, Shiv.
Yeah. I was just going to say, obviously for the cloud, there is no hardware requirement because that is maintained by Oracle. Now on an on-premise, as Mazen had mentioned, the OBIEE, the infrastructure that you need for OBIEE is something that you'll need for DVC as it's an additional functionality which is part of OBI 12c.
We have a question here from Rutvik. He wants to know, are there any limitations on how much data, as in like number of rows and size, it can support?
There's no limitation, really. There's a limitation on what you can, for example, upload from a spreadsheet or a file. But once you're connecting to a database with hundreds of tables, millions of rows, there's no limitation on how much data in that database may be. Just like you're using any other BI tool to connect and report on large volumes of data.
Question here as well from Rutvik. Are third-party visualizations supported?
Yes, there's ways to extend the visuals beyond what I've shown you here and use plugins. We call them visual plugins that you may have created by yourself or gotten from a third party and embedded into Oracle data visualization.
Jeanette has a question. What was the stadium map that you presented created custom or available out of the box? And if custom, do you have any blogs addressing how you created it?
This was a completely custom map. We just have a stadium there, but you may have a floor map of a building, for example. In terms of blogs, we can definitely, if you reach out, we can work with you to get you up and running with it. I don't believe there's a blog that goes into the detail of how it's done.
I think that's a great idea, though, Mazen. We need to have you sign up and write a blog for that.
I'm up for it.
So thank you for that recommendation. Here we have another question. Does this support ragged hierarchy, i.e. different dimensions with different numbers of child members?
Yes, so there's what we call ragged. There's also unbalanced hierarchies that are supported.
Another question here. Is there a union functionality to combine multiple files with the same structures?
That would be something that is a good fit for a data flow to combine data from multiple sources before you start reporting on it.
Chris has another question for you, and he's speaking specifically about Data Visualization Cloud Service. After you set up the data connection, how frequently can the tool refresh and bring in the new data? And will this have any effect on other users using the tool at the same time?
So there's once you create a data flow, you can, at a click of a button, refresh that data flow and then re-import the data, whether it's from a file or from another system. So it's something that the user would control. When you access your project that you have, refresh, and then it will re-pull the data in. And so in terms of impact on other users.
Yeah, I was just going to add. I was just going to add that DVCS, since it can go into multiple data sources as you're looking to build in a report, each one of those applications will also have to have their own process to update on a regular basis, since it's actually pulling data from those different data sources.
We've got a question. We've got a question here from Bernardo.
Yeah.
Bernardo would like to know, with EPM apps, do you need to copy a model with VICS, or does it connect directly to the apps having sync information immediately?
Okay.
Yeah, we may have to get back on that question. Go ahead, Mazen.
Yeah, I mean, at high level, there's ways, when we say EPM, there's ways to get to Essbase directly. If we're talking about, for example, PBCS or Hyperion applications, there's a way to run what we call EPM automate to automate the process of floating data and to be able to report on it.
And I've got time here probably for one more question. Chris wanted to know if you can set up a schedule to refresh the data instead of manually.
If you want to do something scheduled, we use something called data sync, and yeah, you can definitely set up different schedules for different source systems.
Okay, great. Well, I think that we have had an opportunity to address all the questions. If you have any more, feel free to go ahead and type those into the window, and we'll make sure that we do get back to them, back to you rather, within the next day or two to get those questions addressed. But at this time, I'm going to go ahead and just encourage you to follow us online. If you haven't had an opportunity to check out our blog, I highly recommend that you do. It sounds like we might be able to get Mazen to go ahead and write a blog post for us on how he did that custom stadium visual. But there's great information out there on the blog for you to look at. So I really encourage you to follow us, and as a reminder, I also want to let everyone know that if you are interested in getting a copy of the slides used in today's presentation, or if you're interested in listening to the recording again and in sharing it with your colleagues and peers, please feel free to do that. Within 24 hours or so of today's event, we'll be sending you an email with the links to that information. So without further delay, I'd like to say thank you to today's speakers, Shiv and Mazen, and thank you for joining us on today's call. And we look forward to seeing you online in the future.